All right, welcome back to Das Fit. We are today going to talk about the lower body. The lower body is important because we stand on it. We do everything on our 2 feet. So imagine if you're not good from the waist down, then imagine how you are from the waist up. So that being said, what I'm going to teach you today is this is called a waiter's bow. In reality, this is just a hip hinge. Hip hinge is important because that is the movement that you want to perform through your hips. I kind of touched on this in my last video a little bit, but rotation in our hips is really, that's not what we want to do anatomically. That hip hinge is important because every time you do a deadlift, every time you do a squat, that's the first motion. So I'm going to go over that with you today. We use the wall to kind of help support our body as we're kind of performing the motion. And whenever we do anything with gravity, it kind of can play a role in how we do it. So the wall is giving us a platform to do it correctly. What I want you to focus on when you do it is your butt is on the wall. You have a nice natural curve. When I say natural curve, your lumbar and cervical spine, they look the exact same. So you should have that C shape. When you're on the wall, butt is on the wall, you can kind of cross your arms across your chest. I want you to kind of puff it up a little bit like you're a King Kong, kind of like a monkey. I want you to think of starting to bow, but you can only bow as much as your butt can drag up the wall. This is going to help promote that natural curve of your lumbar spine while keeping everything in alignment and coming back up. What you should feel is that stretch down your hamstrings. You might even feel a little bit into your calves depending on how tight you are. We're gonna focus a little bit on squats. Usually when people do squats, they just, in your squat form. And this is gonna be working your glute max, glute medius, quads, hams, all the major muscle groups in the legs. I kind of take a little different approach on the squats. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna implement the waiter's bow that we learned on the wall. We know that is the first step in loading your hips. So as you kind of lean your torso forward, I want you to keep in mind that your contact points of your feet, so having your big toe metatarsal, little toe metatarsal, and your heel down on the ground. Your patella wants to follow between your second and third toe. I want you to think of when you lean forward, you should already feel your hips kind of load. So when you do it, I want you to think lean forward. You're gonna feel that weight in your hips. You're gonna push down in your contact points of your feet and stand up. You should feel your glutes kind of help you rise. You might feel some quads, might feel some hams too, right? When we do it, after you get comfortable, you can add a weight. You can also add a band. So the band, it's more of a form critique. The weight is obviously going to add weight, so it's harder. So in this idea, the band is keeping me from having knocked knees, so my knees coming together. It's going to help promote that activity from my glute medius. With a kettlebell, you can hold it the most comfortable way that is for you. I kind of hold it closer to me. I want you to think of, again, leaning forward. You feel your hips load. Same thing when you want to get down. So it's not just, you have to think of the same thing in reverse. So butt back, sit. Okay? When we do repetitions, I don't want numbers to get in the way of how you feel. So whatever the repetition range is, I just want you to do it correctly. So it can be 3 sets of 5, 3 sets of 8, 3 sets of 10. We progress individually, so I'm going to leave that up to you. Same thing with your hips. If you kind of draw a line from your hips, hip pointers down, your feet want to actually be right there. Now go ahead and kick your knees away. Good. You should already feel that muscle kind of. Yep, good. All right, now all I want you to do is you have a nice natural curve up here. I want you to think of your torso leaning forward. Good. Hold there. You just feel more weight on your backside, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So now I want you to keep this band pressed away. I want you to push down through your feet as you go to stand up. There you go. There you go. Good. That was good. Come back up. Good. Pause at the top for me. Go ahead and cross your arms across your chest. Go ahead and lean forward. Good. Stick your butt out. Now go ahead and sit down. Feel more in your hips that way.
Yeah.
Good. No pain, right?
No.
Just work. I'll take that. So repetition range, I'll leave up to you because it's kind of a newer way to kind of think of doing squats. I would keep that repetition range small and short, sweet. So that was good. Good job. Any questions about that?
No.
Good. Try doing just a repetition range of 3 with the kettlebell. Keep the kettlebell closer to you. Anytime you kind of lengthen, it's going to cause you to work somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Good. Do 2 more. Good. I want you to hinge first at the top. There you go. There you go. That's good. So feel the difference there? Good, good. Last one. Hinge. Yeah, there you go. Good stuff. All right. We're going to continue on with our leg routine. The next exercise I'm going to teach you today is a glute bridge. The glute bridge is really important for your glutes and your abs. So we'll be down on the mat. You can have a towel down to help keep your cervical spine in alignment or help keep that there. When you go to set up, it's gonna kind of look like you're getting into the 3-month position. So your feet are gonna be closer to your hands as you kind of go back down onto the mat. Your knees should be wider than your hips. I want you to think shoulders are down and relaxed on the mat. You're gonna have to create your pressure in your belly. You can do whatever is comfortable for you. So a lot of people have their hands down like this. Some people cross their chest. I just by practice, and I've fooled with a few different options, but the hands over your chest is a good option. I want you to think of before, when you do the glute bridge, that you have a bowl of soup right here in your lap, and then what I want you to do is think of pouring the bowl of soup before you press your butt up. So pressure is set. You can kind of palpate for your hip pointers, and that can be a good judge of if you're in a correct alignment or not. I want you to think of pouring the soup, press. Pouring the soup, press. You can even keep your hands there if you'd like. When we talk about repetition range, I would say anywhere from 3 sets, 10 repetitions. Again, this is going to target your glutes. So if you start to feel any in your quads or too much in your hamstrings, that can give you a note on whether you're just off a smidge.
Yeah.
So now keep your knees pressed away. So press away. Yep. Keep that. Now, remember your hip pointers are here, so I want you to focus on kind of like pouring your pelvis to you, and then you can press. Good. Good. I know I haven't spoken too much on how you're supposed to breathe, but when you push, that should be when you are breathing out. So when you go to set up, taking a big breath, making sure you're breathing through your belly, and then when you go to breathe out, I want you to think of pressing up. Right at this point, you should feel a lot of glute work. If I take my hands and you kind of press against and then do it, you should just feel more hip work. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Good. All right. You can add a band or a weight after you feel comfortable with the movement. Again, this is an isolation movement, so I want you to feel your glutes, abs as you do it, and then you can kind of get playful with the weights a little bit. Any pain? Just
No.
work, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that. Good stuff. Last one. And go back down. All right. All right. Pop on up. Exercise that I'm going to focus on today is called a clamshell. I do it a little differently than most people, but the cues I'm going to give you are just going to enhance the exercise. When you go to set up for the exercise, you're going to think head, shoulders, hips, feet, straight line. What you're also going to do, pardon me, I'm just going to pull up my shirt a little bit so you can kind of see what's going on. If you don't mind, I'm going to have my assistant come up here and I'm going to detail her how to do the exercise correctly. So what I want you to do, head, shoulders, hips, and feet are straight line stack. You want to think of this elbow, palm facing away, is kind of driving into the mat a little bit. What that's going to do is stabilize your shoulder as you work through the movement. I want you to keep this arm closer to your belly. I've focused on this in my last few videos, but diaphragmatic breathing, making sure that you're breathing through your belly as you do it. This arm is here to make sure you feel your belly breath as you do it. So this is kind of tucked closer to you. I want you to think to get long through your hip. My assistant, if you want to come up and just kind of like put a finger in front of this so I can kind of tap your finger. So I'm going to imagine kind of dragging this knee forward before I do the motion, and then I've got to keep that reach as I do the motion. What I feel is a lot of glute med, a lot of hip work, and then back down. And back down. You can do 3 sets of 5 on each side to start off. The more controlled the movement, the better. Okay. So I'll have you pop on down. So your feet are going to be stacked with your hips, stacked with your shoulders. I want you to put this shoulder like right under. Yeah, good. Now take this one, keep it close to your belly. Yep. You can take this arm, fold it up here, palm away. Good. Now I want you to think not about your hand, but your elbow kind of driving into the mat, which you should feel stable here. Now I want you to think, you've got to keep this hip pushed. Good, good. Keep that. Now I want you to tap this finger or knee on my finger. Good. Now keep that reach as you swing up towards me. Keep your feet together. Good. And then back down. Good. Feel that work right here? Good. Keep that. Keep going. Good, good. Good. 2 more. Doing great. Pause for a second. I want you to take a deep breath in through your belly, and then when you blow out, I want you to kick. Good. That's your breathing routine. And the rest. Good. How'd that feel?
Pretty good.
Feeling your hips, right?
Right there.
Good. So the point in doing that exercise is so when you go to do squats or anything leg related, you already fired up that area so you can do your movements correctly. Okay? Do you happen to have a chair by any chance? All right. Our next exercise is side lying hip abduction. You're gonna be set up kind of like the clamshell. So head stacked, shoulders, hips, and feet in a straight line. You're gonna need a wall to kind of perform this correctly. You're gonna lengthen this leg out all the way. Okay? The first step after you get set up correctly is that you get long through your heel. So you have to think of getting really long through your heel first. Push your hips away, and then follow that same way up and back down. Back down. Again, you're breathing, so breathe through your belly. And then when you push, breathe, you should be performing your exercise. And back down. Repetition ranges can fluctuate. I would say start with 3 sets of 5 on each side. Again, focusing on where you're feeling it. So you should be feeling in your hips, a little bit down your leg. If you start to feel it in your back, you know you're going way too hard. You start to feel any shoulder discomfort, you're kind of set up incorrectly, okay? Okay, so start out on that same clamshell, good. I want you to think, you gotta take this shoulder and push it down, yeah, a little more, good, yeah. Now, same thing here. And then you can put this palm closer to your belly, good. Don't think about your hand, think about your elbow being close, yeah, there you go. Now I want you to think of kind of lengthening through this hip, good. Let this foot come all the way out. Good. Get long through your heel. Good. Hold that. Hold that. Don't lose this point. Go ahead and kick up. Good. You only go to a comfortable range. Ranges of motion are going to change. As you do it more frequently, the better you will get. Good. Keep that reach. Good. And you don't have to come all the way down. Just come to that even hip point right there. There you go. 2 more. That feel all right?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Feeling those places? Good. Last one. You got it. Yeah, feel the burn a little bit. Good stuff. All right. Now that's fit.